DC's Absolute Universe is in an interesting position. Launched in late 2024, while it may not be everyone's cup of tea, it's managed to draw in a lot of interest, both from new readers and more well-worn fans, and those in between. The universe is trying to walk this tightrope of presenting both new ideas, but also retaining the core of the characters. But part of its mission is also to remove certain elements. So it's playing this game of seeing how much can be changed before the essence becomes something fundamentally different, or how much needs to be changed for the endeavor to feel worthwhile, like it's doing enough. So all of that in play, of course, invites a wide array of reactions, and because these characters have such long histories, they can vary from person to person and from character to character. However one feels, one thing is for certain, it's interesting, and every book so far, time of recording, has been making an effort. We've talked about all of them so far, but let's return to the absolute flash. Time of recording, there are 2 issues released, and of course, spoilers. There are some very interesting elements at play in how this title is working with things, particularly in terms of headspace and relatability when it comes to Wally West and that interplay with his powers. I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and let's talk Flash of Two Worlds. Absolute Flash is written by Jeff Lemire, with art by Nick Robles, and colors by Adriana Lucas. The first 2 issues focus largely on Wally West, who will be the Flash for the Absolute Universe. The first 2 issues are largely about him getting his powers, the second one more so than the first, and it's also setting up a bit of his life, his relationship with his father and Barry, that was more in issue 1. And there's also this building tension as it shows in the present that he's being chased by a group of characters who, for those familiar with Flash lore, they'll recognize as his traditional rogues. You've got Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, Golden Glider, Trickster, and as many of you have commented on, they Omni-Man / Zaddied up Captain Cold for reasons, you're welcome, maybe. Since this is the Absolute Universe, that means it's an alternate one and there's some room to play. When it comes to the Flash, one of the things they've eliminated is the Speed Force. Now the Flash, be it Jay, Barry, or even Wally, didn't start out with the Speed Force. Originally, it was just good old-fashioned lab accidents all around. But in the 90s, the concept that there was an actual energy force that the Flash tapped into, and that was why he could perform his feats, was introduced. And eventually would grow and become this giant cosmic thing, a cosmic force. There'd be more forces introduced. Since its introduction, it has become viewed as an integral part of the lore. Some really enjoy and feel it has really expanded and grown the Flash universe, while others feel that it's a bit much, or that it can be taken too far and then take them out of it. So this is one of those changes that could ruffle some feathers, and for others, not so much. Some don't remember a time when there wasn't a Speed Force. Now, like the Tangent universe before it, the Flash in the Absolute Universe has a seemingly slightly different power set. Wally West is still fast, but the how/why behind it and how he can control it is being worked out, as the way his powers work seems to be a tad more complex and also tied a bit to his emotional state, even though there are some key aspects that remain, one of them being time travel. The Flash, usually Barry, but the others too, has gotten into quite a lot of shenanigans or trouble because of time travel. And these 2 issues have played a decent amount with time in a way that has married the story practice of telling a non-linear, though not difficult to follow narrative with Wally's mental state. A lot of the concepts are married together here in a fairly seamless way, to the point where it could actually be easy to overlook some of them, they're so well integrated. It comes across as very natural when it's quite deliberate. Wally's thoughts are often racing, cascading on top of each other, something that can even be represented by the placement of the narrative caption boxes. It does a good job of highlighting this frantic pace because you have to read it a little awkwardly, but this also plays with the idea of him being tied to speed. He quite often thinks about being too fast, and looking at it visually at times feels as though the boxes are moving too fast. I'm sorry, I just want to go home. I just want to take it all back. Please, I didn't mean to do it. I swear it all happened so fast. However, these thoughts, they're something that he's felt since issue 1, and we've seen them before slower. Just this idea that there's something wrong with him. It's a core belief that he has, that he's not quite right, that he doesn't think like other people, and that he can feel this buildup of energy that comes inside of him in waves. I've always known something's wrong with me, but now it feels like I'm bursting apart. It's like if I don't move, I'm gonna explode into a million little pieces and no one will ever be able to put me back together again. What's clever about this is that it's a blend between the way his powers are working / manifesting, but also ties into sentiments that many teens experience just in general, in terms of how life is changing around them and their place inside of it. And it's also a sentiment that can extend outwards. Many people have felt out of place or as though there's something not quite right with them, that they're out of step with the rest of the world. But there's another layer here to the way that Wally describes himself and his feelings. I ruined everything. I messed up too bad this time. There is no going back. I'm all broken. I just need to get up. I need to get up. I need to move. Some find that there are some parallels here to anxiety disorders, or maybe some ADHD, maybe a combination, which for some adds on a whole other layer of relatability to this version of the Flash. And while some may not find it relatable or not feel that particularly pertains to that aspect, or even may shy away from the idea that such a thing could be deliberately attempted to make the character in such a way, how it's done here is interesting interwoven with the plot and the character to make a stronger story. Wally's emotions, his panic, his anxiety, his feelings of low self-worth, they're all impacting how his powers work. It's important because in the background it paints the idea that perhaps a calmer person may have reacted differently, or if one engages with it, one could potentially go down that thought path. Although in all fairness to Wally, how he got his powers was pretty dramatic, so it's not like there's not cause for panic, and he is also being hunted down. So it's one of those plot elements where one could read into it in that way or not, and either way the story makes sense and holds. Wally's powers also have a bit of a lightning motif going on, which is nice. It ties back to the Flash and that whole lightning bolt insignia. He can still use it, hooray, even though he didn't actually get struck by lightning literally in this, at least doesn't seem so. They were already playing with him wearing lightning bolts and classic Kid Flash colors. What's also classic, though it doesn't pertain to his history necessarily, is the way his powers are being described. While only glimpsed in issue 1, issue 2 gives the reader a much clearer look at the accident. We're back to lab accidents, another classic. Barry is testing out some kind of device, all dressed as if he could become the Flash, when Wally comes in and gets caught up in it. This is seen as a bit of a disjointed moment after Wally goes off in the present where he's being chased. So it comes across as though Wally's a bit unstuck in time, as if he's glitching, which he may be, but there's also some strong Watchmen elements. There's the other classic. The Watchmen is a classic, whether one enjoys it or not. Wally is unmade and then seemingly remakes himself, or is remade, which gets Barry punched in the face by Wally's dad.
What'd you do to my boy?
Dad?
It's okay, son. It's gonna be okay.
Wally is seemingly in between moments in time, particularly two, in the past and the present, simultaneously in ways, almost pulling focus between the two moments. But they do also take some time later to describe what he's seeing as he's going fast. I'm here. I know that. I'm here in the desert, and it's now. But I'm also back in Barry's lab. I'm with my dad. I'm here, but I'm also 3 years ago. And my dad is on leave, and he took us to Wonder Island, and it's the best day ever. And Mom is there too. She's still alive, and we're all together. I'm all together. I'm still whole in one piece, not broken. Not here and there, and I can't stop running. No matter how much I want to, I can't stop, and I'm scared. And suddenly it happens. I'm not here, and I'm not back then. This is, of course, very reminiscent of the speech that Dr. Manhattan gives on Mars, as he unveils his backstory, which he is a modified version of Captain Atom, so we're just coming all full circle. The photograph is in my hand. It is the photograph of a man and a woman. They are at an amusement park in 1959. In 12 seconds' time, I drop the photograph to the sand at my feet. Walking away, it's already lying there 12 seconds into the future. 10 seconds now. The photograph is in my hand. I found it in a derelict bar at Gila Flats Test Base 27 hours ago. It's still there 27 hours into the past. In its frame, in the darkened bar. I'm still there, looking at it. What's very interesting about this, well, there are a couple of things, but at the foreground is tone and what a difference that makes. Dr. Manhattan has largely disassociated. Existing in this state has set him apart from humanity. It comes across as the idea that this is not the way a person should exist or experience time. Whereas because of the setup for Wally's headspace, he feels more involved than ever. Like he's experiencing and engaged in all these things. Like he's being pulled to those moments rather than more aloof, which plays back into the whole racing thoughts and potential neurodivergence. The Flash and Dr. Manhattan have also been linked in more recent DC history. This in terms of giant DC universe-altering events, such as the New 52, which at first looked like was Barry's fault, but then it was Dr. Manhattan's fault. In canon, it was meant to always have been Dr. Manhattan's fault, but to have that kind of connection in a story called Absolute Flash of Two Worlds, the Flash of Two Worlds being a nod to the classic Silver Age story of the same name by Gardner Fox and Carmine Infantino, which introduced the idea of the Flash traveling to a parallel Earth, where the Golden Age heroes, or the original heroes, lived. This places the Absolute Wally in a bit of a similar position, because were he to travel, he'd be going to meet the original heroes in the original universe. And they are seemingly leading up to a crossover, because of course they are. However, this is still made to feel significant inside of its own story. I'm for it, and I can see what's coming. I see tomorrow. No, 2 tomorrows. 2 worlds. Am I a hero or a monster? See, also note that his symbol is broken in two. Flash of 2 worlds. Now, this aspect may land more or less so for others, depending on how one feels about probability and the multiverse and how many options there should be. However, from a thematic standpoint, it's quite strong because we're playing with the whole 2. This story can work on several levels for those who engage with it. Like any work, it won't be for everyone. Some may find Wally's concerns childish. Even though he is meant to be a child, they may find it to be too much or just not something they want to engage with. They may also not enjoy the more disjointed storytelling storytelling or wish that it was moving at a bit of a faster pace. And sometimes things just don't grab you and it's not that deep. In terms of how this is presented, Wally does come across like a teenager. He doesn't entirely think things through. He's got a lot of self-doubt and he's a little self-centered. The things he's thinking about when his thoughts are racing, they work on a general level, but also as it pertains to the story in terms of what's happening situationally. And the way that they're presented could resonate with someone living with or going through some mental health issues, or people who aren't. Again, it's fairly broad. The way his powers work so far intrigues me. I'm interested to see where it ends up going on that front, where they take it. Will he be the character who pierces the veil? Will it be one of the other Absolute Flash characters who's been hinted at? I see you, Mirror Master. However, the Flash does have that history of going across dimensions. You just gotta vibrate hard enough or something. Comics have taught me that if you go fast enough, you can do anything. But all these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. What do you think of the Absolute Flash? Do you feel that it has that layer of relatability? Do you feel that it's aiding the story, taking away from it? Are you not engaged with this at all? My camera doesn't want to focus today. I'm moving too much. I'm too fast. Please, your thoughts, I want to hear them. Leave them down below. While you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this minute to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.